I know it's already June by the time I release this video, and I know that there's like another Marvel movie that came out already, but it's never too late for me to review it. So the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie is out, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Now, aside from Spider-Man being my favorite Marvel hero, I would consider the Guardians as my other favorite Marvel heroes, or Marvel group. They're a bit better than the Avengers in my opinion. So yeah, I was looking forward to Guardians 3. The MCU recently kinda lost their footing for a bit over the last year, and yeah, as someone who likes the MCU and more than invested in this franchise, I was kinda losing hope that the MCU wouldn't leave people with just mediocre and boring shows and movies in the future. And I was hoping that Guardians 3 would bring everyone back to what a good MCU movie is like. And I'm here to say that Guardians 3, it's amazing. It's honestly one of the best MCU movies that I've seen in a while. James Gunn really wanted to give this series a really good send-off to the Guardians series, and it's a little sad that this might be Gunn's last Marvel movie that he will be working on, since DC is gonna have him work for them on future projects, but it shows that James Gunn really does care for this series and these characters. It's one of the reasons why I like the Guardians movie so much. But I do like this movie. First, I'm gonna talk about the things that I didn't really like or I just wasn't a fan of, but isn't that noticeable to people, so these are just really valid complaints that I had. First thing is the editing in this movie is sometimes kinda cut in some things that weren't really necessary. For one, there was an emotional scene that I really liked, but it cut back to a character to a scene that was meant to be funny. I found it a little annoying because you couldn't just let the audience process to what just happened after, because it was just a really emotional scene. You probably know what scene I'm talking about, but that's just me and some people wouldn't really care that much. And another thing is the runtime for this movie. I don't like long movies, and this is a 2 hours and 30-minute movie, but I kind of felt like some scenes were dragged a little too long and I just wanted things to just move along already. And I kind of thought that Adam Warlock would be in the movie a little more, because in the second movie with that post-credit scene, it seemed like they were gonna say something bigger for him, which they kinda didn't. While I'm not too familiar with the character, I think I find him a little entertaining, so that's something. But those were the complaints that I had with the movie. Nothing too major, but I can probably forgive it over time the more times I watch it. But other than that, this movie is really good. There's just a lot of stuff in this movie that makes the Guardians movie a Guardians movie. The villain in this movie is one of the best parts in the movie. He's just really intimidating and one of the best villains I've seen in a while, since probably Thanos, I guess. This villain makes him want you to hate him for what he does, and the actor does a really good job for this villain. And I also really liked what they did with Rocket in this movie. His backstory is one of the most tense and emotional backstories that I've seen. I was really into what happened in his past. I won't spoil what it was, but I was really into it. And the Guardians themselves are as fun as entertaining as they always were. While other people say this movie does feel like the end of the Guardians, and they do feel like a family, while I do agree and I really like their send-off in this trilogy, I kind of felt like they would have done a little more with how it ended, because I think they ended it a little fast and it really didn't feel like it was not the end for them. But that's just me on how I felt about it, but I still think it's a satisfying send-off to this trilogy, and the last thought of how this movie ended almost had me in tears. That's how you know it's a good MCU movie. Go watch it if you want to see a good MCU movie, or if you just like The Guardian. You'll be really satisfied and emotional with this. I mean, that's how I felt. Oh, and by the way, I also like this is the first MCU movie that used the first F-bomb. It's just perfect. Finally, some good MCU. Hopefully they'll stick with this because they delayed a lot of their shows and movies, which I'm actually kind of happy about. So hopefully they turn out good. I'm excited for the Marvels because I actually been looking forward to that movie for a while now. So yeah, goodbye.